You know, if you've ever planted garlic, I bet you've heard it's like the easiest crop ever. Just pop it in the ground and forget it. But what happens when that easy crop totally fails? It's a bummer. So today, let's dive into a simple, actionable game plan to make sure every single one of those bulbs you plant actually makes it to your kitchen healthy and strong.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? This quote just hits the nail on the head. You get this idea that you just, stick a clove in the dirt and then poof, months later you've got garlic. It's totally the starting point for pretty much every new gardener.
And then reality comes crushing in. For the author of our source material, it was pulling up these bulbs that looked totally perfect from the top, only to get hit with that awful, sour smell of rot and see this nasty white fuzz all over them. Ugh, it's just a gut punch, and it teaches you a really hard lesson. Garlic diseases are no joke. That failure, though, that's what puts us on the right path, the path to prevention.
Okay, so why does this even happen? I mean, to beat an enemy, you've got to understand it, right? We need to figure out its weaknesses. What is it that makes this supposedly tough plant so vulnerable to attack?
So check this out. Garlic is in the ground for a long time, like 8 or 9 months. The whole time, it's getting hammered by fungi and crazy swings in moisture. And get this, it's part of the allium family, with onions and leeks. That means any disease hitting your onions can just hop right over to your garlic. Talk about a tough gig for one little bulb. All right, it's time to meet the main villains of our story. Let's break down the 5 most common diseases that are out to get your garlic. Think of this as a most wanted poster for your garden. And here is the lineup. We've got white rot, downy mildew, rust, Fusarium Basal Rot, and Botrytis Neck Rot. We're going to go through them one by one, figure out what they look like, and, most importantly, how to take them down. First up, we're starting with the heavyweight champion of garlic diseases, white rot. And listen, this isn't just some seasonal bug. Its spores can sit dormant in your soil for up to, get this, 20 years. 20 just waiting for you to plant garlic again. That's insane, and it's exactly why prevention is absolutely everything. So how in the world do you fight something that's stubborn? Well, you'll spot it by this white, cottony fuzz at the base of the bulb and yellowing leaves. But here's the key. You don't treat white rot. You have to prevent it from ever getting a start. And that means a super strict crop rotation. We're talking at least 8 years without planting any alliums there. And sanitizing every single tool that even thinks about touching that soil. You're basically creating a garden biosecurity zone. Okay, on to threat number 2, downy mildew. This one is all about the weather. It absolutely loves cool, damp conditions, especially when your garlic plants are all jammed together, trapping moisture on their leaves. And the fix is actually pretty simple. You're looking for pale spots on the tops of the leaves, with this kind of purplish-gray mold underneath. The solution? Airflow. It's all about airflow. Just give your plants some personal space, about 6 to 8 inches apart. And a big one, water in the morning. That way the sun has all day to dry off the leaves. You're just taking away the damp, cozy home this fungus is looking for. Our third baddie is rust. And let me tell you, this one is not subtle. It basically screams, "I'm here," with these bright orange spots all over the leaves. You can't miss it. This fungus loves moderate temps and high humidity, and it loves to show up right when the bulbs are starting to get nice and plump. The game plan here is a classic 1-2 punch. First, play defense. Pick garlic varieties that are known to be more resistant to it. Second, play offense. Be proactive. A light dusting of sulfur in mid-spring, right when things start to get humid, is a really simple, organic way to stop this fungus in its tracks before it even gets started. All right, threat number 4, attacks from underground. Fusarium Basal Rot. It's a fungus that lives in the soil and goes right for the base of the bulb and the roots. It's a huge problem if you've got heavy compacted soil or just anywhere that water tends to pool up instead of draining away. So, how do you stop this one? Well, it's not really about sprays, it's all about your soil. The signs are a brown, rotting base with hardly any healthy roots. So prevention is all about giving it great drainage. Think raised beds or amending your soil. And listen, this part is so important. Be gentle. Every little nick from a tool or bruise during harvest is like leaving the front door wide open for this fungus to come right on in. And finally, we have the sneakiest one of them all, Botrytis Neck Rot. I call it sneaky because it attacks after you think you're home free. It's a storage disease. Your garlic can look absolutely perfect when you harvest it, and then weeks later in your pantry, it just turns into a moldy, mushy mess.
So what's the secret weapon against this one? It's simple. Patience. You just have to cure your garlic properly. That means letting it hang out to dry in a warm, shady, breezy spot for a full 2 to 3 weeks. And you do this before you trim the tops and roots. This whole process creates this amazing, dry, protective seal around the bulb that just locks out any infection.
I just love this little bit of wisdom from the source material. It's like something your grandma would say, and it's so true, right? If your garlic's crowded, it's like putting sick kids in the same room. They'll all catch it. It just perfectly sums up what we've been talking about. Spacing and airflow are your absolute best friends. It's a simple idea, but man, it sticks with you. Okay, so we've met all the bad guys. Now it's time to bring it all together. Let's build a master plan, a single playbook that will help you prevent not just one, but all of these diseases from wrecking your harvest. And here it is, the whole game plan in one spot. It really just boils down to these key things. Rotate your crops to starve out the bad stuff. Space out your plants so they can breathe. Water in the morning so the leaves stay dry. Keep your tools clean to stop diseases from spreading. And cure your garlic properly to seal the deal. Think of each step like a brick in a fortress you're building to protect your harvest.
Now, we've mentioned this a couple of times, but one idea is so important, it really deserves its own spotlight, and that's crop notation. This is not just some old wives' tale from your grandpa's garden. It's actually powerful science. And this is why it works so well. Imagine this. Year 1, you plant your garlic. Year 2, you follow it up with something like beans that put nitrogen back into the soil. Then year 3, maybe some broccoli or cabbage. By doing this, you are literally starving out those soil diseases like white rot. You're breaking their life cycle. And on top of that, you're building healthier soil for everything else. It's the ultimate long game strategy. So, we've gone through a ton of practical tips, but the most important tool you have isn't in your garden shed. It's your mindset. The real takeaway here is about shifting how you think about your garden. I love how our source material wraps this up with a quote from Proverbs. It frames this whole idea of prevention not as a chore, but as, well, an act of care. It's about being attentive, really knowing what's going on in your garden, and looking after the soil that provides for you. When you just pay attention to those small details, the big problems, they just don't have a chance to take root. So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. A question for you. Looking at your own garden, right now, what's the very first step you're going to take for a healthier harvest next time? Is it mapping out your crop rotation, maybe working on your soil drainage, or something as simple as just cleaning your tools? Whatever it is, remember that a perfect harvest always starts with that one small first step.